Texas Motor Speedway has been known to be a pretty boring track for the last several years. However, there was a time when it was possible to provide good racing at Texas. One wild race that comes to mind is the 2014 Texas Playoff race. To set the scene for this race, we have to put ourselves back in that time. This was the first year of the confusing and very controversial elimination playoff system with no stage racing. There were little to no playoff points awarded, only giving drivers 3 points for each win they had in the regular season in only the first round. After that, all drivers were level in points for the round of 12, 8, and the final 4. This format was brutal and would mean no room for error or bad luck. Coming into the 8th race of the postseason at Texas, Jeff Gordon was leading the points after his second place finish at Martinsville. This was his 4th top 2 of the postseason so far. His teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. took the grandfather clock home after his win at Martinsville. Unfortunately for Jr., this one came too late after being eliminated in the round of 12 just a week earlier. Gordon, however, had led the championship for most of the regular season and appeared to have a good shot at making the Final Four thanks to his team's consistency all year. All Gordon needed was 2 clean, solid races and he would be in the big show, but was only 5 above the cut line. On the other end of the spectrum, consistency was not Brad Keselowski's friend in 2014. Despite winning 6 cup races up to this point, including 3 of the last 8, Keselowski found himself in a big hole coming into the round of 8. He was 7th in the standings, courtesy of a big crash near the end of the Martinsville race and a 31st place run. Pre-race, Keselowski sat 26 points behind the cut line and would probably have to win to get through the next round. It wasn't looking good for him at Texas though, considering he was starting 26th, and Jimmie Johnson was the favorite to win by a landslide, starting in 3rd. The first caution of the race came out on lap 43 due to debris. Gordon had a small mistake on the pit stop that pushed him back to 10th, while Keselowski hadn't even cracked the top 20 yet. On the restart, it was Johnson who led them green. There was some decent racing through the middle of the race, but it was pretty average overall. Thanks to good old NASCAR, though, they made sure that there were restarts. 6 more debris cautions came out over the next 240 laps. Along with this, notable incidents for playoff drivers, Carl Edwards fell 2 laps down on lap 165, and on lap 229, Keselowski made contact battling with Casey Kane. But all day out front, it was Jimmie Johnson, Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Gordon, while Keselowski was still outside the top 10 more often than not. Ryan Newman, who was 3 points above the cut line, had surprising speed and had spent much of the evening in the top 5. Harvick needed a win, or at the very least a top 3 day, because he came in an astounding 33 points below the cut line. Other playoff contenders, Kenseth and Logano, had also spent a lot of the evening flirting with the top 5, while Hamlin and Edwards were having pretty bad runs. However, at some point in the midst of all these debris cautions, Keselowski took the lead on lap 250.
I think so. We had a really long run of about 130 laps, 129 laps early in the race, and that actually saved a few sets of tires.
Be up to the pit crews to decide this again.
Come on, bud. Do it. Come on.
Almost everybody pitted. Keselowski stays out, Vince.
And a good pit stall down there, number 1.
So pit road open here. It'll be 48 laps to go. And Brad Keselowski from 12th to the lead. He only fell back to 3rd and now comes down pit road, heads up with these others. Then he hasn't been around much all race long, Vince.
Just a few laps later, the first real caution of the race came out for young Brett Moffitt. This is when the race really started to heat up.
Check the standings here and where some of the chasers are running.
That's going to change here.
Yes,
go back to green, but I'm telling you, Matt Kenseth and his team, Jason Reckler, that might be a call. They've got enough people between them. If this should go green, his car might be good enough to
he might be able to
keep him out front.
The restart with 33 to go was wild. Cars fanning out, making wild moves, and unsurprisingly, this did not last long.
Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon to the high side making time.
Inside lane got bottled up when Brian Vickers slipped. But now they're double wide in front of the cars with fresh tires. Kurt Busch to the outside of Matt Kenseth looking for the race lead.
Kenseth loose.
Joey Logano, flat tire possibly.
Oh, yeah, going. Nah, he
Keep
might
digging.
not be able to save it.
Run to the bottom here. Hold on.
Caution for Logano.
Logano's race had fallen apart after a flat right rear. Now it was time to do it all over again. Kurt Busch nailed the restart and Kenseth started to lose positions rapidly. Just a few laps later, the caution flew again.
Spinner off turn 4. Casey Kane in the grass. Caution is out.
Hold the brake, coming right outside.
And another car with smoke and damage. Marcos Ambrose up in turns 1 and 2. Don't know if he got a piece.
Ambrose sliding. Casey Kane got loose and
Both
he
of
tried
them
to
did.
correct
Yep.
it there. Yeah, jumped up into Ambrose.
Kurt, Johnson, and Gordon stayed out while a lot of drivers surprisingly came to pit road again, including Harvick, Kenseth, Newman, and Keselowski.
Oh, a lot of them came.
Gordon
too.
stayed out.
A lot more came than I thought.
On the restart, Johnson and Gordon shot past Kerr and looked comfortable in P1 and P2 with chaos all behind them. Kane's bad day then got worse after a big crash with Trevor Bayne.
And what a twisted picture.
Yeah. Remember when Denny Hamlin was far outside the cutoff there?
Yeah, how about Joey Logano? When he was outside just,
Yeah.
what, 20 minutes ago?
Gordon jumped to the lead on the restart, with Keselowski leading a charge of drivers with new tires. A wild battle for second between Harvick, Johnson, and Keselowski was heating up. Flint Boyer went to the wall and caused a caution to set up a thrilling green-white checkered.
I think he got you in the left rear.
Wow, you can see it on his face. Like Boyer might have had to check up just a little bit to stay out of Paul Menard, and then got tapped in the left rear.
Contact Gordon and Keselowski.
Jeff Gordon may have a flat tire.
Yeah, he does.
Gordon spinning, turn 4.
What's spinning
Caution
here?
is out. We'll have another attempt at a green white checker.
Boy, who was the leader right there when that caution came? 2 or the 48? That choice that he made to go to the outside. Brad
Still out
Keselowski
there.
was ready to go, though, but you can see the contacts, what cut the left rear tire
Clear
down
low.
there.
3 wide.
Harvick really got the 2-car loose right there. Oh, he's going to turn him. Oh, didn't he save it?
White flag, last lap.
Keselowski was not able to get the win after his contact with Gordon, which ultimately cost Gordon a shot at the championship. After the race, Gordon fell to only 1 point above the cut line, while Brad was now only 5 points back. After Harvick's win in the next race at Phoenix, both Brad Keselowski and Jeff Gordon would fail to make the final 4 to compete for a championship. However, back to Texas. We all know that the action didn't end there.
Conversation and have it right now.
we went down into one, and I just wanted to get the outside of the 48, and out of nowhere I just got slammed with the 2, and it cut my left rear tire. And he's just a dipshit, you know. I mean, the way he races, I don't know how he's ever won a championship, and I'm just sick and tired. I mean, that's why everybody's fighting him and running him down, and you know, your emotions are high. That was a huge race for us.
Thank you guys for watching, and if you watched all the way to the end, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Peace.